Yes, we are able to hear you.
Okay. Okay. Let me share my screen. Let me know if you see my desktop. Do you see my desktop?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Great. So let's get started. So as all are comfortable with English, right? Because I don't speak Hebrew, I cannot speak Hebrew. So all can understand,
Yes.
right? Okay. So as we all know, the DBA champion session is basically to cater the issues. Itzik might have been explained earlier. The DB champions would cater the repetitive tasks which we keep on getting. And for that, we are coming up with various tools which could be used, or the methodology, or how to analyze repetitive issues. So that's what we are going to look in various sessions, maybe 4, 5, 6 sessions. So this is the first session in which we will cater various topics like as you see, there are these are mixed topics. Maybe certain related to developers and certain might be related to QAs. So there are various topics like structural changes. Basically, the developers do the structural changes. So what are the structural changes? We have Jenkins job through which various structural changes are being done. So we'll see what are the structural changes are supposed to be done through that. We'll see overview of the masters. We'll see master DB's read-only user to view the master changes done on the masters. We also see why various changes are not reflected in QA. We also see the what is BA master and its relation with the project master, and we also see why certain changes are not reflected whenever the changes done in BA master, those are not reflected to master. So feel free to raise the questions if you want more insight in certain topics. So I will try to cater whatever the questions raised by you people. Okay. So we have already created one wiki. So this is the link. I will share this link details in the mail also. So we are trying to come up with all the topics. We are building it up. It might take some time to come up with all the topics, but we have included various topics into it. Shortly, we'll include videos and other details also in this wiki. You can search if you come across certain errors, you can also search the errors, and possibly if that topic is included, it would guide you to progress without our help. So you can save your time and progress without any interruptions. Okay, so this is the wiki link. We would share it shortly. So coming back to the structural changes, we have link uh, Jenkins job, which is used for doing the check-ins for various structural changes. Structural changes in the means DDL, whatever the DDL changes the developers do. For that, this job is supposed to be used. The check-ins are specifically for table, index, trigger, or sequence or type. For these changes only, this structural change job is supposed to be used. So this is specifically for developers and not for the QA. So these are the objects. For these only, this tool is supposed to be used. For other objects like procedures, packages, or views, the normal master UI tool which could be used. Okay, so this is the job basically job in the Jenkins, where you need to supposed to give the product type, SP, classic or whatever, and choose the project or product, whatever the product or if the check-in is supposed to be done for specific project, then need to choose that. You need to choose project. Then all the project masters would be visible in drop down. So here, if you see, product has been chosen and all the applicable products are shown in the drop down. Then select any one of the product where you want to do the check-ins. Then you can click on the object types. So object types, whatever as we seen earlier. So those are the object types like table, triggers, type, and sequence. Those are supported check-in for doing the check-ins through this tool. Okay. Any questions with this?
I don't think I quite understood the purpose of this tool.
This is specifically for the developers. Uh, like developers keep on doing various alters, right? Like various changes. They need to change the
You mean check-ins?
yeah, for the check-ins.
All right.
Okay. So they need to change the table structure, they need to add a new sequence, or they need to add a trigger, or they need to change the trigger. For all that purpose, this tool needs to supposed to be used. Is it clear?
And the changes are taken from where?
Okay, the process is like that. Using this tool, the developer would do they would raise the request. Once they raise the request, it would come to DBA. Okay, DBA will verify the changes, and if anything is missing in those changes, they will ask the developer to do the certain like if new column has been added, comments might be missing. So DBA will ask to add the comments, and DBA will progress these changes on the master, specific master, wherever it has been asked. So this is the process. So this is just a tool through which the developer asks DBA to reflect these changes to the master. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so I believe it's clear. Can we progress further, or you need any further details specific to this? Okay, I believe you can raise anytime if you have any questions specific to this. So we will see overview of master. As we all know, that master is a centerpiece for all the automation, right? So basically, what is the process we are now following is that developers do the check-ins specific to code and database. For doing those check-ins, developers use master UI, or certain times check-ins are done using BA masters. Okay, and certain time the DBAs do the changes specifically asked for structural changes or everything. Okay, so this is center, master is a center piece which is used for automation. So once developer do the check-ins, all the changes are captured in the master, and once build has been triggered, all these changes are picked from the master, right? So that's how the master, we call it as a centerpiece for all this automation. Okay, so it is also repository for GPP client-like data. Like specifically, we try to maintain client-like data in all the masters. There might not be 100% exactly similar to client, but most of the time, most of the data, it is about around similar to the client. So which gives us for the check-in and all those, which gives us something, some client-like data to be referred, right? So this tool works based, the masters works based on the triggers. Okay, so whatever the changes done by the BA master or using master UI are captured whenever any table change has been done. All these changes are captured using the triggers. So that's how it works. So another purpose of using master is that we also it also negates any structural changes, that syntax errors. Many times if we see, if we directly send the script to client, if any error is there in the script, that might be neglected, as if syntax is correct, then only master captures all those changes into its UPGT table, and that is progressed. So that's how this master negates the error-free, useful for sending error-free changes. So if we see, there are different kind of masters. For classic there are different masters, and for GPP SP there are different masters. Okay, in classic we have only one master for specific views. So we all are aware, right, like that there are different views like scaled view, freeze view, preview, and prod view. Generally prod view do not have any masters, but for all other views we have different masters. So here we are referring for scaled HSBC scaled view. For each scaled view, we have two masters. One is project master and another one is product master. So product master always start with the name PRD, and next to that, what project is it is, what bank it is referring. Like here we are referring for the HSBC, and then what exactly the view it is referring. This is so here we are having PRD HSBC TCH scaled master. So this is product master, and the next one is PRJ HSBC TCH scaled master. So this is project master. So what is the difference between these two masters? Like whatever, for example, the specific project keep on taking changes from the product. It might be a current scaled product, or it might be a certain certified product master also. For example, certified product master might be 4610, 4611, 4612. So those are the certified product masters. And the latest one, as we see, that PRDC scaled master or PRDS scaled master, those are the masters for the current ongoing changes. So whenever the changes taken, or the rebase taken from the product, all the changes are applicable for the product master. So in that case, PRD HSBC scaled master is applied with all those changes. And whenever any developer or the BA master does the changes, which are reflected into the project master, and the project master mainly contains project like data. So if any specific data is not applicable for project, the product master do not override the project master data. So is it understandable, right? Hello.
Yeah.
So basically we have for each view we have two masters. One is product master, another one is project master. Project master contains project specific data, and product master is used for the rebase from the products. Okay. So basically flow, as we saw already, developers or the BA master check-ins are done. Those are captured in the master. Build process is taken. And once build has been applied on the QA environment get all the changes over the QA. So this is the normal flow. What are the master properties? Master is nothing but it's a schema in the masters, and it is linked with one of the view. It might be scaled, it might be freeze. For example, as Barclays scaled, Barclays freeze. So it would be attached to one specific view. It is operated using triggers. It have hundreds of system tables. So one of the important point here is that masters only capture system table data. It do not capture transaction data. For example, MINF table data is supposed to be generated when the payments are processed, right? For that we do not send any data. So it is not, it is a non-system table. So system tables like P rules and all those other different tables, those are system tables for which the Finastra is responsible for sending the data. So masters only capture, masters have different system tables, and for those system tables only data are captured. It also captures structural changes. Developer and QA are do not access masters directly from security perspective. We do not allow the master and QA developers and QA to access this schema. Only thing developers could do the changes to these master using master UI tool. And master is also, as I mentioned, it is important component in the automation build process, check-in, build, and all this process. It is an important component for the automation. Master also documents the systematic changes, who did the change, when the change was done, for what table it was change was done. All these informations are captured in the masters. So if someone want to verify what was the change and when it was done, so they can refer to the UPGD table to find out what changes were and when those were done. Master also generate delete insert statements, like for any update or for any insert, it generates its own, it generates delete and then insert. So that is why we can rerun the script as many times as possible, because it deletes and then inserts. So that's how all our release scripts are rerunnable scripts. Many times if we run, there won't be any issue with GPP working, right? As it deletes and then inserts. So this is the basic properties of the masters. So any questions related to masters? Let me know if it is not understandable, so I will try to explain it a bit in detail. Okay, so many times we see that changes done by people or the developers are not reaching to the QA. So we might need to investigate or find out why changes are not getting to the QA. Or whenever the developers does the changes, they might need to find out whether whatever the changes they did in the specific master are reached to QA or reached to master or not. So one way they can do it using master UI tool. In the master UI tool, there is a report section, and this is master UI tool is specifically accessible for the developers because they have only accounts created for them. For other people, for QA people or anyone or developers also, if they want to investigate the issue in further details, they can use read-only user, which is present in the master DB. So read-only user, its username is master DB and password is also master DB. Using these two details, anyone can connect to the to this schema. And these are the IP address for the masters, like 192.168.168.26. Port is 1521 and the service name is masters. So using this TNS entry and using master DB username and master DB password, the read-only user could be connected. So once that user is connected, the master UPGD table of specific master could be queried. Like in this case, if we want to query project HSBC TCH SCADE master, then we have to specify that project master name and then the UPGD. Once this all needs to be done once you connect to the master DB schema. Okay, so with this query, whatever the changes done in that specific UPGD table would be visible to specific user. If we see here, I will just try to give the example. Okay, so I have connected to project PRJ HSBC TCH SCADE and if I do the order by, I can see whatever the latest changes done by specific user or any data if I want to refer. So in this case, if we see there are various columns. DML text column contains the exact data change, whatever done by specific that change. Like here, it was delete on the logical field. So this was the check-in specifically done for with this change. And if you see made by column, in the made by column, it captures who did the change. Like if some developers do, if suppose I do the change, so my name would be reflect here, like Sachin.Terdale would reflect here, and it would have specific unique operation ID, and it would be having the table name for which table this change has been done. And two other important columns are here, like CR number and release number. If CR number is present, then only build would pick the changes for the release. If that is not present, then build won't capture. So if you want to investigate, you can connect to the schema, come to here, you can specify your made by name or table name and try to find out your details. And if you do not find CR number here, for example, these CR numbers, these changes won't be captured because CR number is not assigned here, right? So only CR number is assigned, then only the changes would be captured. So suppose developer do the change, for example, I do the change, the made by would be Sachin.Terdale, then CR number has been assigned, QA take the release. As soon as QA take the release, the release in which changes are captured would reflect under the release name. So if you want to investigate further that this was my change and this was for this specific table, it has been assigned with CR number and it has been captured in this release number, and developer can maybe further try to find out in the release scripts with that specific release number whether that change has been present in there that specific release or not. So this is the this is the use of this table, using which anyone can try to find out the changes were part of master or not, right? Any questions?
Yes, I have one question, Sachin.
Okay.
So sometimes I search for changes that were performed on UPGG. This is project master, right? So
Right.
this is only changes that made by the project. So for example, here there was a modification of logical field XPath and made by Rebase. What does it mean exactly, Rebase? Who is Rebase?
Yeah, basically suppose the rebase happens, right? If the rebase happens, that change, this change has come from the rebase. Basically, that is the meaning of this.
Oh, rebase from a product?
Yes, rebase from the product.
So shouldn't it be on product PRD master?
See, basically, all the changes from the product are applied on the product, but for the but those changes not done on the project. For example, this change is not applied on the product. That means this is not deleted from the product, but it only come to the DML, the UPGD of this table, UPGD table. It is not applied on the project master. Did you get the point?
Okay, but we do see it as a record here in the project master.
Yeah, it's only come to the project master UPGD table.
Oh, okay, so it does not come into they do not actually receive it, this change?
Yeah, the project would receive this change. So basically how it works, like if project have any data, for example, there is a ABC rule is there in the project. Okay, so once the rebase is done, all the changes are done on the product master, and those same changes are applied to project master UPGD table. Okay, and from there those changes are picked and packaged into the release scripts. If that rule is present in the master, then from product rebase, those changes are not at all propagated or progressed to the project. If that change is not present only, then only captured.
Okay, so let me understand just if I made some change on product, yes, product 4611, which is with HSBC are currently using,
right?
And afterwards they are taking a rebase, I'll see the same change on project table.
It's not applied on the project table. It's only if that rule is that specific change is present in the project master, then that product change is not at all captured. It is discarded. If change is not present in the project master, then it is just pushed to the UPGD table only. It's not applied on that project master.
Okay.
Okay, so the process is like product rebase. It checks whether the project master has the data. If it has the data, then those changes would be discarded. If that data is not present, then it is pushed to UPGD. And from the UPGD, the build will progress those changes to the client. Okay?
Okay.
I believe it's clear. If not clear, maybe we can take it offline and try to understand it a bit further. Any questions? So basically this master DB is a read-only user which is used for verifying. Generally people do not have direct access to the masters, so using this master DB the UPGD table of that specific master could be verified, or it could be checked for the changes, whatever the changes done by various BA masters or maybe the developers. Okay, so only one thing we need to remember here is that the project master which you want to verify, that you need to specify. Okay, and basically BA master is attached to the project master. So whatever the changes done on the project BA master come to PRJ master only, as specifically BA master is points to project master. And whatever the developers do the changes specific to project, they do not have access to product master on that specific project, right? PRD master, if developers they connect to the master UI, they do not modify any data in product level. They can change only when they select project master. So in that case, all the changes go to the PRJ masters. Okay. Any questions? We can move ahead. Okay, so this is a master UI.
Just I wanted to ask, when can the CR number be empty? What is the cause for that?
Earlier, now basically it should not be empty. As soon as a master UI do the changes, the developers are supposed to enter the defect number. And BA master, if the changes come from the BA master, in certain cases CR number would be empty in that case. But whenever the changes are being saved through the GUI, we save it using some defect number. So once build is taken, during that the CR number is applied and that changes are picked. So in certain cases, changes from the BA master, you can see CR number null. But for that also we are trying to come up with some trigger or something. As soon as BA master changes are done, those are also applied. So answer to your question is that BA master changes certain times. It might CR number might be null.
Okay.
And for certain rebase activities also, we clean up the CR number for most of the tables and we try to rebase, but that is on specific scenarios. Okay.
Okay. Yes.
Yep. But earlier, the developers were supposed to assign the CR number prior to master UI tool. So certain times post doing the check-ins, certain people might have tend to forget, and that's how the CR number used to be null. But not now. It might be due to BA master, or maybe due to the rebase. Only in that case, CR number might be null. Okay, so the report section in the master UI also could be used to verify various changes. Like in this case, for master change means the project master change. So there are various options made by, like who did the change, or release number, in which release has changes come, CR number, table name, or you can specify certain DML text also. With that you can try to verify. So this is also one method. Basically this is for the developers, as they have the access to the master UI. Okay. So let's move to the next section. Why do changes are not reflected to QA, even though changes might have been done into the master? So there might be various reasons. There might be technical reasons. There might be logical issues, or maybe errors while doing the check-in. So there are certain points we have tried to reflect, and possibly in future we might try to incorporate the tool to verify the possible why the check-ins were not come up. So basically various reasons might be changes done in wrong masters, like changes so we observe on various event, changes were expected in freeze, but changes were done in freeze. So if changes are done in freeze pre-masters, then those won't be captured in pre-masters. So this is the one reason. Again, check-ins are done, but QA says, developer says check-ins are done, QA says they do not receive the changes. So one of the reason in that case also, the check-ins are done, but build is not triggered. So that is also one of the reasons. So we noted these points because we keep on facing such scenarios frequently. That's why we noted all these points. And next point would be that QA has taken the build, but it is not deployed, right? So if check-ins done, build is taken, QA is not deployed the changes, then there is no point of expecting those changes into the specific QA environment. In certain situations, check-ins were also done very wrongly, like insert was done, then the delete was done later on. So if delete was done later on, then there is a possibility that those changes were washed out from all the check-ins and build everything. In certain event or in certain occurrences, master do not have the correct data. If master do not have the correct data, check-ins are done, then there is a possibility of capturing the wrong data, or check-ins are not at all captured in that case. That is the one reason. One more reason is that if suppose you are doing the update, if you are changing updating P rules to change certain thing to ABC, okay, and master already have that change as a ABC, and if you update that ABC, then master do not capture any changes. Master only capture changes if there is something different from whatever data already has in there in the master. If in this case, possibly we can overcome this, like you update it with XYZ and then again update back to the ABC. So then master will capture. So master will only capture if there is a different data has been changed. Okay. So in certain event, we also remove changes from the masters, but we try to tell the developers like that we are removing certain changes. In certain case, for example, the unique index was introduced, and there is a that unique index failed in the QA environment. So in that case, either developers need to suggest us to remove the data, unique data, or to convert the unique index into non-unique one. So in that case, if its build is important, certain time we might to remove the changes also from master. Apart from that, the master might be having certain technical issues. Technical issues also one part where due to master wrong configuration or due to certain technical issue or the master changes are also not captured. And other reasons are also like that from the product changes are done on the product, and we are expecting that to be part of QA. Okay, but project master has same change in there. If project master have the same change, then those changes are not captured to progress to the QA. Like as we understood earlier, each project have PRD master and PRJ master. If the same change, for example, take a P rule ABC. That P rule ABC is present in a PRJ master, and the product, the same change some developer do in the 4.6.10, 4.6.12 product master, and rebase is taken. So once rebase is taken, as project master already have that ABC rule, those changes are not captured. So this is also one reason. Possibly this could be verified in the master whether if this is change, that data is changed, then there is no way to progress it further. So if in that case possibly do the change specifically on that project master or remove that change from the project master. So any future change expected from the product rebase could be captured. And we also keep on getting various requests like that the changes aren't present in the master, but it is not present in the QA. So it does not mean that changes are present in the master. That does not mean that it has to be part of the QA. Only changes would to come to QA if that change has been checked in. So explicitly someone need to do the check-in for that. So once that check-in has been done, then only it would reflect to the QA. Okay, so these are the certain points due to which the changes might not reflect to the QA. So any questions for these topics? Okay, so let's move ahead. And shortly, we are doing various business rule related changes or free and SQL changes at this moment. So in future, we would be giving the DBA champions to access to doing certain changes. So there should not be delay with progressing the changes. Like on various accounts, we keep on getting business rules check-ins, which comes very urgently to us, or suppose or as part of some check-ins or Jira. So we do those check-ins for the required team. So we would be granting such check-in requests shortly to the DBA champion, so they can progress it on their own. It's almost we crossed the time. So should we stop here? I think it's 5:30. We started 5:30, right? Okay. So this is about the granting free and SQL changes access to DBA champions. So shortly we'll come up with that. So let's move to the next topic, BA master and project master, right? So what is BA master? BA master is one of the exactly similar to QA master. It is nothing different differentiation with the QA environment and BA master. Only changes in the BA master that we have different triggers configured in the BA master, which points to the project master of that project. Okay, for example, here we have BA master name with BA master underscore HSBC underscore TCH underscore SCADE. This is the BA master for HSBC TCH SCADE. Okay, so this master would have triggers for project rule related tables. So whatever the changes done to these P rule tables would be captured and sent to the project master. So in this case, what is the project master? PRJ underscore HSBC underscore TCH underscore SCADE master. So what is the process? As BA master is exactly similar to QA environment. Whenever we do the changes in the GUI and we save it, so GPP does update, insert, delete on the BA master, BA HSBC TCH SCADE master. So as soon as update, insert, delete are done, triggers below those P rule tables are captured and propagated to project master, which is here in case it's a PRJ HSBC TCH SCADE master. And as we all know, those changes are captured in table called UPGT, right? So BA master always points to project master and not to the PID master, right? Any questions? Okay. So as we learned here, BA master is exactly similar to QA environment. It is specifically used to capture rule related tables, and each BA master project point to project master. Okay, so these are the tables which are supported for doing the check-ins. Most of these are specific to rule related tables like P rule condition, object P rule types, right? Okay. Any questions here? Okay, so we always see on various accounts, we keep on getting the questions that we did changes in the BA master, but those changes are not captured or reflected in the QA environment, right? So basically, what are the general issues in which situation these issues are not captured? Here we are trying to point it out. The basic first rule for capturing any changes on the BA master or doing any check-ins through master UI also, that rule is supposed to be system rule. Non-system rules, we do not capture any changes. Why? Because non-system, those are business rules. Business rules are supposed to done using GUI, right? So that is the reason only system rule check-in is allowed. Apart from that, system indicator, right? We have two system indicators here. One one in BA master and one in project master. We have as soon as any change is done in the BA master, it checks whether the system indicator in object P rule types table, whether it's 1 or not. If that is the indicator is 1, then only trigger capture the change, and it comes to master, project master. Again, their verification is done whether the system indicator is 1 or not in P rule types. If any one case system indicator is not equal to 1, then any change for that rule is not captured. Even if the system indicator is not correct in a BA master, in that case also change is not captured, or system indicator is not 1 in master, project master. In that case also BA master changes are not captured. Even if data is missing in any of the, right, if that P rule types data is missing in project master, or in product master. In that case also changes are not captured, right? Okay. Further, data is missing in project master. If project master, for example, we are doing the check-in for ABC rule in the BA master, that change P rule in BA master contains that ABC rule, but project master do not contain that data in project master. So if update has been done in the project master, so as there is no data in project master, that those changes are not captured. Even delete is also not captured. Why? Because the masters works based on the trigger. If there is no data to do the change like update or delete, triggers do not capture anything. So the main rule here is to project master supposed to have data in project masters if delete and update are supposed to be captured. For insert, there is no issue. If insert, definitely master would capture as it's going to insert new data. On certain account, BA master triggers are also not configured correctly, but if triggers are not configured, then definitely the triggers won't capture the changes, and these changes are not propagated to project master, and project master do not take it as part of build. In certain cases, there is a possibility that it might be a GPP code issue also, but it is not frequent, but certain account it might due to GPP code as well. Okay. So these we were discussing regarding the BA master changes, why the changes were not captured from even if the changes are done in the BA master. These are the certain evaluation points, like if system indicators are not correct in any of the master, in that case changes are not captured. Of course, the system the rule has supposed to be system rule, or data is missing in project master, or it is a trigger issue, or it's a GPP code issue. So we have come up with some tool to analyze these changes. So we would release that tool shortly. So to view certain aspect of it, I will just try to. Okay, so this is the tool. It you can get it in the Jenkins under master UI. So this is the BA master check-in verification tool. So it only points out all these points itself. So you have to put the project, the BA master name. You have to put project master name and the rule which you want to verify. Like if we see here, build with parameters. So you need to input BA master name, rule name, and the project master name. So if you input that, it would try to give you the answer why that specific rule was not checked in. So the points it note is the same points which we just covered. Like it verifies the configuration issue of the triggers. If triggers are okay, if you see any error here, then it might be a trigger issue. If it also verifies whether the rule is a system rule or not. If it's a non-system rule, then it will specify that it's a non-system rule. You cannot do the check-in for this. Also, it verifies whether the system indicator is present in BA master and project master. So in this case, for this rule, there is a system indicator present in BA master, but it do not present in the project master. So this rule is never going to be checked in because the data is missing in P rule types in the project master. So as it verifies doing the check-in, so that data has to be present in master also, in BA master also. So this rule is never going to be checked in that case. Apart from that, if data is missing, like project, if we are doing the changes for object P rules, okay, or P rule types, if data is missing in the master, delete and inserts are never going to be captured. So that is also an issue. So that is also one reason the changes are not never going to be checked in. So you can start using this tool to verify if any such issues we come across. Okay, so this is the tool. So we try to cover various topics today. What is a master? Why do changes from specific check-ins are not captured? What is a BA master and project master relations? Why do changes from the BA masters are not captured? Also, we saw system structural change tool as well. So these topics we covered today. So any questions? Let me know if it's difficult to follow. Basically, I will try to come up with some more detailed topics if it's a bit difficult to understand.
Could you send us the PowerPoint presentation?
Yeah, sure, I will share it, and we would share this video, or we might come up with a better video also. We'll share it in the wiki, so if it could be referred in future also.
Okay, thank you.
And all these topics are most probably covered in the wiki, so you can refer if those things are needed. Those could be referred in the wiki also. And as I mentioned, yeah.
Yeah, just a quick question. As part of the DBA champions, will we have admin access to the masters table, or will that be still locked to us?
You won't be having admin access, but the main table is UPGD table, which you can refer directly. That is one of the most important table which you can try to see it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So you can try to refer, like we try to cover various topics here. You can verify if some issues you come across. You can try to check that error. If any solution is present there, or we also mentioned tool names using which you can overcome that issue. That also you can refer. So we already covered how to use various tools. That section, most of the tools we covered. And apart from that, we covered various topics related to knowledge base, which might be helpful for you people. And also let us know if you feel that various things we could automate, or if you want any insight or anything to be covered in more detail for any topics. So let us know, so we can try to come up with that. Any more questions? I think we are good. So let's stop here. Thanks to all.
Thank you for the session.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.